Good evening. It is Wednesday, 13th November 2024. I am Daniela Edwin. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We are on Flow Channel 117, Kiss FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and the Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. Not forgetting those of you using the Hot 7 plug and play antenna. Thank you so much for joining us. Social media accounts of a vehicular collision, which occurred on Wednesday afternoon, showed passengers injured and one of the drivers trapped inside the crushed vehicle. Jasmine Duncan has the details in this report.
Road accidents continue to be a plague that law enforcement is grappling to treat. One such incident was recorded in Pralle on the afternoon of Wednesday 13th November 2024, where social media content captured the aftermath of a head-on collision that left the driver of the minibus trapped in the badly mangled bus. According to video evidence, the other vehicle involved was a Jeep in which its driver was seen visibly in distress. It is unconfirmed how many individuals were aboard each transport, but at least 3 other individuals were seen and are presumed to be injured given the presence of blood. The cause of the collision that propelled both the vehicles on opposite sides of the road is also unknown. The most alarming part of the video is the motionless view of the driver. At the time of this report, the news team reached out to first responders who were unable to confirm any fatalities. Once these reports have become available, an update will be provided. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Jasmine Duncan.
A press conference revealed that the Royal Saint Lucia Police Force has not arrived at a verdict on the formal investigation of sexual misconduct allegations against a senior officer. Acting Commissioner of Police Vern Gard acknowledged procedural setbacks and alleged missing documents as possible reasons for this delay.
A formal investigation is underway in response to sexual misconduct allegations leveled against a senior officer within the ranks of the Royal Saint Lucia Police Force. At a November 12, 2024 press conference, Acting Commissioner of Police Vern Gard provided an update on the case, explaining that he has communicated with the senior supervisor overseeing the investigative team and expressed concerns over insufficient information in the initial report. Subsequent to this, Gard said he instructed the supervisor to pursue all relevant leads and resubmit a more comprehensive report.
The file was submitted to my office and I was woefully disappointed in the conduct of that file. I found the file to be brief, inadequate, and it lacked the necessary points to justify the submissions that were made.
When faced with questions from a media personnel on the whereabouts of investigation documents, Gard disclosed that a particular file is currently unaccounted for, further raising concerns about a break in the chain of custody and casting doubt on the investigation's continuity and integrity.
In relation to that same file, the case file from 2007 handled by Mr. McCombie, are you in possession of that case file in that very same matter?
No, I'm not. No.
Has that case file disappeared, sir?
I am not in possession of the case file now.
Mr. McCombie prepared a file, delivered it to the previous commissioners. You now have conduct of this matter.
Mr. Elliott, I'm not in possession of the file.
The acting commissioner clarified that the file he does have contains witness statements and several other pieces of information. However, according to him, it does not satisfy the pronouncements made. Given the possible emotional impact this development could have, the acting police commissioner had this message for the victim, who is still in pursuit of justice.
Every single person that makes a report at every station must understand that I take every single matter seriously, and what I will do is to ensure that matters are investigated to the point where justice is dispensed as per the requirement of the Constitution of Saint Lucia.
Addressing questions about the investigation's timeline now spanning over 13 years, Gard indicated that he would not impose a deadline on the inquiry, allowing investigators adequate time to uncover the truth.
This matter I have not given a timeline on the investigation. I'll tell you this much, and I think I've said that yesterday. In Saint Lucia, we all want to see an arrest. But in my opinion, we should all want to see a thorough and proper investigation that elucidates the facts. And the facts in this particular matter, especially one of them, are facts that are almost 13 years old. And as a result, there needs to be a course of investigation to elicit evidence sufficient to the importance of the matter and sufficient to the evidence needed to make certain conclusions.
GAD maintains that individuals are presumed innocent until a judicial body says otherwise, and as such indicated that the senior officer is still on active duty.
As I said, many matters are reported against police officers all the time, and I think I received about 9 of them on Monday. It's just not practical to manage the organization in such a way that if something is not affecting the administration of the organization, that we just remove persons from their area.
According to GAD, once the conduct of an allegation becomes a challenge for the police administration, the next course of action is to change the individual's desk, but asserts that this is not the case in this particular matter. For the Hot 7 TV News, Chrissy Bakey reporting.
In other news, in keeping with its mandate of leaving no child behind, the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan, and Paramount Holdings Limited, furnished the Cicero RC Combined School with a state-of-the-art kitchen.
The reopening of the Cicero RC Combined Schools kitchen was a well-attended one, which saw various ministry and community officials present to mark this momentous affair. In her welcome remarks, Acting Principal Ms. Yasmin Tyson shared the value that this contribution has in improving the quality of education and overall lives of the students who attend Cicero Combined.
Today, we gather not only to celebrate the transformation of this vital facility, but also to express our heartfelt gratitude to the individuals and organizations who made this dream a reality. First and foremost, I would like to extend our deepest thanks to the Embassy of the Republic of China, Taiwan, for their generous support in funding this project. Your commitment to the educational and personal growth of our young citizens is truly inspiring, and today we see tangible benefits of this partnership. Ambassador Chen, please know your contribution will leave a lasting impact, ensuring that our students' nutritional needs are met in an environment of dignity, care, and excellence.
Speaking in her capacity as Education Officer for District 4, Mrs. Marie George Aline urged the students and teachers to take care for this facility, ensuring its longevity and usability.
This facility is truly one of the best, and I am certain it will be of immense benefit to all of you. But to make the most of it, permit me to make 3 recommendations. 1, let us ensure this kitchen is managed with professionalism and good care. 2, teachers, I encourage you to utilize this kitchen when necessary with your grade 5s and 6 students during the afternoon time when the preparation of meals are completed. Bring learning alive through practical demonstrations and topics related to expository writing assignments. 3, perhaps in the future, we can consider adult education classes where the parents and other community members can pursue CVQs in bread and pastry making and cake making and decorating. This could serve as a valuable resource for parents and the community to sharpen and develop their new skills.
Also in attendance was His Excellency Peter Chen, the ambassador for the Republic of China, Taiwan, who emphasized the close diplomatic relationship between the two countries and is proud to continue serving Saint Lucia in more impactful ways.
Taiwan takes the pride of being part of its efforts and looks forward to more stars and future leaders being cultivated in this outstanding school. Over the years, Taiwan is committed to the development of Saint Lucia in education and healthcare sectors. From scholarship, Chromebooks to NCD awareness workshops, Taiwan continues to work closely with all the ministers. And I would like to extend my gratitude to the guidance and leadership and support from Honorable Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire and Honorable Minister Sean Edwards. Taiwan will continue to work closely with Honorable Prime Minister Philip JPN, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire, and Honorable Minister Sean Edwards, and all cabinet ministers in supporting Saint Lucia's national development. Together, I believe we could forge pathways for the betterment of the people and communities of Saint Lucia.
Parliamentary Representative for Castries South, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, stressed that the gesture was very impactful as it helps to eliminate the need for students who come from low-income households to forego school if they have nothing to eat, as the school is now equipped to provide its students with warm, nutritious meals to keep them going throughout the day.
It's a very simple but very powerful exercise we have this morning. As parliamentary rep, too often I have parents saying to me that they did not send their children to school because they had nothing to give them to eat. And it's something that always troubles me. Why a child will not go to school in this day and age simply because they did not have anything to eat. And I know my colleague will tell you, colleague minister will tell you the amount of discussions we have as to how we can make sure that all the schools in Saint Lucia can cater for you, the students. And students, I want you from today, if ever your parent says to you, you're not going to school today because they have nothing to give you to eat, you can tell them the school will take care of you. So not going to school because you did not have a meal for the day should no longer be a reason why you must not come to school.
Hilaire asked the students to take inspiration from past student Julian Alfred, whose mural is depicted at the entrance of the school, seeing her as someone who pushed themselves to achieve their goals even to the point of world-class recognition. Honorable Sean Edward, Minister for Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology and Vocational Training, compounded on previous speeches, engaging the students and helping them understand the significance of this project, especially in deterring absenteeism and giving them the vital nutrients to undertake their classes and sporting disciplines.
We want you to participate in sporting activities so you can grow up and have healthy bodies. And very importantly, we want you to eat foods that will cause you to grow and have strong and healthy bodies. But in order for you to have food properly prepared at the school, you need a proper place to prepare your food. How many of you would want to eat the food if it was prepared in the toilet? If you would be happy to eat food prepared in the toilet? Put up your hand. Very good. Nobody wants that. Where must our food be prepared? Let me hear that again. Yes, so your food must be prepared in the kitchen. But we want for you to have the best kitchen available. And that is why the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Healy, he spoke with the Prime Minister and he spoke with the Ambassador and so many other persons to ensure that you have the best kitchen in all of the 74 public primary schools in Saint Lucia.
This project marks a new beginning in how the various ministries and sectors intermingle to the benefit of school-aged students on island.
The Department of Parole and Probation Services sought the attention of the media as it outlined the process for awarding parole to inmates and preparing the wider community for reintegration. The ultimate goal, according to the unit, is to afford offenders a second chance, but in a manner that protects the interest of victims.
With the slow-turning wheels of justice, the subject of parole has remained a sensitive one for the affected and one highly sought after by the offender. But as of late, the Department of Parole and Probation Services has endeavored to highlight the work of its office in ensuring each case of parole is carefully considered for the protection of all parties involved. The department, in a recent press conference, actively engaged the media on the rollout of its first wave of services in collaboration with the Borderley Correctional Facility. Cuthbert Henry, Director of Parole and Probation Services, stated that these services include victim support and sex offender screening, and disclosed that staff is receiving the technical support to ensure the process is seamless.
We recently completed just this week training of all our staff members in the application of cognitive behavioral therapy techniques in working with offenders. We have a rigorous training plan to place us in a position to respond to the growing complexities of offending behavior, and we are currently experiencing high volumes of complex offending behavior. The absence of sexual offender screening is another urgent area that we will be equipping our members, the members of our team, over the next few weeks to deal with. This is quite because there is an obvious absence of sex offender management in the country. Closely linked to this is the area of victim support services, which we are just in the embryonic stages of putting together a team to address the very delicate area, as we know there is a long history of an absence of servicing victims' needs in the country. We are currently engaging partners and central government to close this gap once and for all.
With an understanding of how parole impacts the lives of victims, Henry underscored the importance of ensuring all parties remain informed through each stage of the process.
When you enter the public service, you are taught basically, in an unspoken way sometimes, not to say anything to the media, not to engage the media, but it's counterproductive. And so if we decide that we are recommending parole for persons, and you have victims of rape, victims of murder, and nobody says anything to them, and you take a bus, it's a small country, you take a bus and somebody who raped you sits next to you, boards the bus with you. You're on a bus to Grosley, and the perpetrator of your rape takes that bus and sits next to you. How do you deal with it? And I think we need to feel responsible as a department. We need to feel responsible as criminal justice practitioners for that. We have a responsibility to engage the public and to engage the victims of those offenses.
A 2011 OAS study by Hilary Herman, former Director of Corrections, posited that the Borderley Correctional Facility had a 46% rate of recidivism, which is the tendency of a convicted criminal to reoffend. With knowledge of this, Shana Innocent, a parole officer within the department, highlighted the rigorous eligibility process and correctional plans aimed at reducing reoffenses. In addition, the unit is ensuring that the former inmate has a smooth re-entry into society and has measures in place to keep them engaged in lawful and meaningful activity.
One of the benefits, like we mentioned, of parole is that of the offender when being released in the community is supported by a parole officer. Right? In the past, before parole existed, this individual would have been released into society, and there is no form of no supportive organization around them. What the parole officer does is works with the family, works with the individual, and works with other agencies within Saint Lucia to sort of provide the individual with coping skills to manage the contributing factors to their offending. So engaging in these rehabilitative practices and programs would sort of manage the likelihood of reoffending in the future. Currently, we do have individuals who have been released on parole, and we have been able to have conversations with employers in relation to parole, and they've been more than willing to engage with these individuals in terms of providing them that sort of second chance.
According to Innocent, accepting responsibility and taking accountability for their actions is a large part of the rehabilitation process.
Offender is also part of that correctional planning process. It happens with the offender. So they get to acknowledge that this is my problem, this, my community was my problem, associating with my peers was my problem. How do I move forward? And of course, this takes time, but our role is that of engaging them in a motivation and a change process to get to that point, to sort of diminish the likelihood of reoffending happening or associating with their past peers.
This marks a new approach to crime management as it relates to reoffending individuals. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Jasmine Duncan.
Still in the first segment of the broadcast, the POV. Today, you share your thoughts on offenders being released on parole rather than serving their full sentence. Here is your point of view.
Well, it depends on what crime they do. If it's petty crimes, there's no need to have somebody pack up in prison for such a long time for a petty crime, That is overcrowding the prison. But for those that do the most serious crimes, these are the people that are supposed to get them the full time, so that they could get rehabilitated, if possible, and that they could be released in time, in due time.
They are human beings. So, if they serve the term, I think the magistrate or the judge say, okay, for committing this crime, they give you all 10 years, 15 years, and something. But the problem I do have, and something, right, with society, they have faced the time, right? I believe that they should give them a chance, at least to correct them. Because most time, even when you go inside there, borderline is not the answer to correct people and make them be in better society and so on, right? But we need to have some proper, we need to have some individuals who are well trained and so on. I think the church should be stepping in, and then when somebody commits a crime and something, that we can try to change the life of individual.
I do not think so. If you do commit the crime, you should serve your sentence. Because one of the problems we have in society today is that people do rash decisions. They don't think twice before they go and commit the crime. Okay? Because before you do something that is against the law, or before you break the law, you're supposed to think twice. You should know whether you want to go to body lay or whether you want to stay as somebody who is free, somebody who has, his freedom on the street. But if you go about, committing a crime, I do not see any reason why that you should be receiving parole.
I'd like to say thank you to Hot 7 and everyone that's watching. My opinion is just that, so I hope it doesn't offend anyone. But if you are arrested for a crime and you go to jail for something and the judge says a certain sentence, then that's the sentence. Yeah, you should serve it. But because some people do rehabilitate while in prison, they do learn, they become different people while they're in there, I believe some people should be granted an opportunity for parole according to their conduct and the way that they've been carrying themselves since being arrested, charged, and convicted of their crime.
Yes, I guess I see where the government is coming from. I find it costing the government to take care of all those inmates and stuff. So they should put them on parole, at least put them, when you put them out, and let them do some community work, and then while they're doing community service and stuff, give them a little something, like a little money to hold themselves. You check it? Do not just put them out and then they have to defend for themselves. If you put them out, let them do something out there and give them a little something to hold. At least they could take care of themselves, give their children, or you understand? Yeah, man, that's a good thing they can do.
want to share your point of view with us on trending topics in the news, look out for our reporters or head over to our Facebook and Instagram pages at Caribbean Hot 7 TV. We would love to hear from you. Coming up next, VA4 breaks celebrated silence with shooting incident despite police efforts to maintain peace. And Johnson Charles receives multiple awards and tokens from the government for his contribution to sports. The details to these stories and much more on Reuters.